Listen, when I was a young lad, I would watch American Idol and I would cringe, but not for the typical reasons. 11-year-old me would cringe when I'd see really good singers make that face that singers make when they get really into it, when they kind of look like they're in deep, deep pain or maybe giving birth to a child. I would look at that as an 11-year-old and think, come on, man, you're scaring the hose. And that's because as an 11-year-old, you like to imagine that you can do cool things like sing really well or maybe play the drums. Always really into playing drums. And you like to imagine that you can make it look super effortless, right? Like you join the football team, you're wide receiver. When you run out, you don't even look for the quarterback because you just know, right? You're open. Of course you are. You're just so fast. You know what I mean? And you're going to reach up into the sky. You won't even look at where the ball's coming from. You just know that ball is going to find your hand because you're just so free. And you'll catch it. You'll score a touchdown. You'll run to your crush. You won't even say anything. You'll just kind of give her a look and she'll go, damn, you're so cool. And what really happens is, you're running out, desperately looking for the quarterback. Please throw to me, please. At the same time, you're like, if you throw to me, please, for the love of God, catch the ball. That's what you're telling yourself. You run to score the touchdown, and then when you run up to your crush, you're not saying anything, but not because you're trying to look like a badass, like with a stern look or anything like that. You're just wheezing because you just ran the length of a football field and you've been running around for however many hours because you're playing football. That's the reality, but like in your head, you don't want to make it look like you put forth effort. I used to do it with the drums all the time. I would practice for hours and hours and hours making super silly faces because I'm slowly getting faster and I'm like biting my tongue and all this, whatever it is. But then when I would play in front of people, I would have practiced so much that I could make it look like there was no effort involved. But the thing is, if you do that too much, you eventually reach a point where if you do something and you don't quite do it effortlessly or you make it look effortless, then they only know you as the person that always does it effortlessly, and it looks way, way worse than like somebody who's just consistently kind of like, I don't want to say making mistakes, but just kind of being themselves. You know what I mean? Occasionally messing up. You learn from your mistakes. You get the idea. Why am I bringing this up? Mainly because I'm seeing a lot of like 20, 30, and 40-year-olds that share this mentality. The mentality I did when I was 11. And sometimes I still have this problem. I've talked with my wife about this. The way me and my wife joke is way different than the way I joke in YouTube videos. And I'm definitely toned down, There's a part of me that's worried, partially that, we do live in an era where YouTube seems to have rules where you want to say things like unalive instead of die. But then I also kind of wonder if that's like people that were getting monetized are being super overprotective of their monetization. So they've started saying unalive because they're afraid they'll get in trouble. But there still is that part of your brain that's like, it's like the in-between of the guy that never tries at all. I talked about this the other day. The kind of guy that never tries so that he can always say that he never failed because he never tried, even though a lot of people could point out he never succeeded either, but you get the idea. It's like the in-between part where you're trying, but you're not really trying to your fullest. You know what I mean? I have that issue still to this day. But I'll see people, grown men, 20, 30, 40, and they have this mentality. The thing that brought this up is Tyler, the Creator, put out an album, Don't Tap the Glass, right? And immediately it starts off, and he talked about this leading into it. It's not going to be a concept album like his previous albums. It's just meant to kind of be like a 10 fun run, whatever. But you're just supposed to enjoy the album, right? It's not super deep. Don't Tap the Glass is supposed to be like a don't touch your phone, dance, live in the moment, move, leave your baggage at home, all that good stuff, right? It's meant to just be that. It's not super deep. And I've seen like 30 and 40-year-old men on Twitter, on YouTube, and even like TikTok say things like, "Ugh, this is such a corny blah, 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 blah." I've also seen some people who are like, we get it, technology bad. And it's like, I don't think that's necessarily like, obviously he's sharing it on social media. You know what I mean? The album is on Spotify. People are going to be talking about it on social media. I think it's meant to be like hey, I'm releasing this album. It's not super complex. I made it over the course of 6 months while I was on tour. There's no concept to it. It's just an album of fun things to dance to. And to see people who are like, corny. I know who you are. You are 11-year-old me, right? You're the 11-year-old me that would say, oh, come on, why are you making that silly face when you're singing the song that's maybe potentially super emotional? That's cringe. But really, deep down, what you're thinking is you're imagining yourself in a situation where you're carefree dancing like nobody's watching to whatever Tyler's music is out right now. And you feel embarrassed, not because of the other people that are dancing, but because you can't imagine a world where you are that comfortable with yourself. You can't imagine a world where you're comfortable looking like an idiot because you can't dance. And I want to let you know that you don't want to be like that forever. Like, I'm still battling that off from like being an 11-year-old, okay? Which was just yesterday. I'd like to keep you on toes about my age. Is he 50? Some people believe that when I brought that up in the other video, which is kind of funny. I might keep doing it. But the point is, for some reason, we've made effort and being yourself. I guess we've always kind of made it a problem realistically. Everyone's always said be yourself, but then they don't really mean that shit. And they definitely don't mean that shit if you disagree with them on shit. Trust me. Be yourself unless you're not into the things I'm into, because otherwise it's cringe. But that's not the point. The point is, there's too many of you that have applied that to literally everything. I say too many of you as if I haven't been in the exact same situation. You've applied that to literally everything, to the point where it's like putting effort into music, videos. I mean, there's people who like act like leaving a comment on a YouTube video that's like not even a paragraph long. It takes like an extreme amount of effort. It takes about 10 seconds. Well, you know, we'll say 30 seconds. You got to think it up a little bit. And I feel like, you know, a good example, like rap is always like a decent example, because I feel like from 2018 to we'll just say like starting in 2018, there were a lot of artists that really wanted to let you know, like, I try this shit effortlessly, and I'm going to flex on how absolutely effortless all this shit is to me. And sometimes like a Tyler the Creator comes out and a lot of people are like, finally, somebody who doesn't give a shit about making it at least appear that they're trying. You know what I'm saying? But they call them theater kids. They called Kendrick Lamar a theater kid because he had a therapy album. Like, cringe theater kid. Like, oh man. Vulnerability, authenticity, effort. Ugh, cringe. No. Pretty cool fucking art, actually, as it turns out. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely people that I go after. Mainly because they come after me. I hate when small creators come after me and then they act like it's a problem that I'm going after bigger creators. Part of the reason I don't go after you and I would go after bigger creators because they have a bigger influence. So when they say some shit that I disagree with, I feel like they're spreading it to a much larger audience. It's not that big of a deal. Will they ever hear my opinion? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe they will. Who gives a shit? But like, I don't know. I'm just in a different mindset. Like, I don't oftentimes go out to find other like small creators that I can just disagree with. Most of the time when I'm arguing with a smaller creator, it's because they came to my channel and they found, I don't know, something to whine about. There's always something to whine about, you know what I'm saying? But it's YouTube. It's not that serious. And I won't be baited into like serious philosophical discussion or history discussions on my YouTube channel, okay? Just so I can appear to be more intelligent to you. I'd rather just potentially sound like a dumbass to you, to be real with you. My ego can handle that, you know? Listen, I might have a sensitive ego, but I really just don't mind if I look like an idiot to you. But now we're just talking about the weird random small channels that always have something to complain about on my channel. But, you know, it is what it is. I've kind of got off the rails a little bit. The point is, be yourself. Even if I don't like you, who gives a shit, you know? And if you're really going to be one of those people that encourages others to be yourself, I hope you mean that when you come across somebody that isn't like you or doesn't seem to have the same sense of humor as you. Because some of you are lying. Some of you are lying bitches. You encourage other people to be themselves, but you don't feel the same across the board. I don't know. I'm just yapping.